Alright, welcome back everyone. Here's where we are after 9 days of building. Pretty happy with this. It's coming together, feels pretty solid. Everything so far is lining up within reason to me, outside of the floating stairs there. But it's really digging the look of this one. It's simple, but it's complicated. The more I'm looking at it, the more they've got a bunch of stuff sitting up in here that I'm not sure if I want to do or not. The more I look at it, but I'm gonna give it a shot and do a dry fit. But I may forego. There's like a table with food and stuff supposed to go in this zone, and I'm not sure if I want to pursue that. But my plan is to sort of build it and sit it in there and see how I feel about it, because this actually looks pretty nice to me, like a nice little as it is. I don't want to get too much stuff in there to distract from what's going on, because we're also going to have a tree over here. So I think they might have, gotten a little too much clutter in our little cottage. But that's, like I say, that we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But that's where I want to let y'all know where I'm thinking that right now. But if you're new here, this is what I do. I buy these kits and build them step by step, mostly in real time. You get to see all my successes and all my failures, and how I hopefully fix those inevitable failures as they come up. Upload daily and just try and have a good time. We're not solving the world's problems, just building silly little models, having some bit of fun. See any kits or builds or sets you want me to take a shot at, feel free to drop in the comments. I'm always looking out on my list, and I got the most intelligent audience on YouTube because y'all provide me with nothing but the best of options. That being said, we're ready to jump in. I'm currently on, I'm page 17. Finally found it. And it's sort of going a little bit everywhere on this one, so that I am following the directions, but not strictly following the directions. I'm sort of going to be a little loosey-goosey with it. But let's, first thing, we've got to make some more stockings. It's the same as the one we got above our bed. So I'm just going to trim off the excess here so I can just work with the area I really need. I want to make sure I leave me enough to hang on to as I cut. I actually wish I hadn't done that. But we should be able to make some way here. Get out my tiny scissors. Excuse me. And I want to get this interior cut first, because that's the tight one, and I got some glue here, so I'm going to go in the side, I think. Hopefully keep my template fairly well in order. And I think I'll do the big scissors for this part. Nice smooth cut, I hope. Going around toe. Didn't get very smooth there. Oh yeah, somebody. Okay. Oh, templates out of the way. Got a little. Round that out a little bit, I think. Okay, that's better. And then same sort of thing on this one. I'm going to go in. Try and get in this little nook or cranny. I'm not sure which one that one will qualify as. I'll take the big scissors, go the rest of the way around. Turn out. Yeah, you get a little shaping on that end too. Okay, got a little goof on the bottom there, but I think it's acceptable for what we want here. And now, I had trouble with that little fabric thing on my first stocking. This is where I can get my, if I can reach my felt. That big old stack of felt, all the colors, or most of the colors, but I definitely got a white one down in here somewhere to make my fuzzies on for the top of my stockings. Dig it out of the middle. Then try and convince it to stack somewhat neatly back up. I've been asking nicely, doesn't seem to help it. This stuff's pretty sticky. I think that's how they made it. Okay, a little better. Okay, now basically just a little trim piece for the top there. So not much. I think I'll be able to go like that long. There, not that thick. I should be able to get 2 out of that. Okay. Looks like more than 2. Have my hot glue gun at the ready. Get a little plate to go underneath here. And tweezers. So I'll put it like that. Yeah, that's gonna work. Hot glue gun to fire up now. And I gotta wait for that blue light there, and see how small of a dot I can get to go onto there. There it goes. Actually, maybe I'll just bring it to the glue rather than the glue to the dot. It'll be dot there. Alright. One down. I guess actually I could put it on first and cut it after it's glued in place, couldn't I? Little bitty dot. String out of the way. Get a little overzealous with the glue on that one. Popped off pretty good. Maybe trim a little bit off the red there. Yeah. There we go. Too far. There we go. It's not bad for those. And we're supposed to put some decorations on it from in here. And, not that one. I'm getting a star. And then somewhere here. There's another kind, but no, they're all in Ah, there, I see one. Our little bows. Okay. Now, I don't think I'm going to try the hot glue on that because that's, I don't think it's precise enough. And I lost my little, oh, there's my little glue tube. So I'm gonna, I think you're supposed to be fairly centered on their stocking, so I'm just gonna try and get a dot there and there. Just drop that onto the dot. And that one. Little string there. I don't even know if they're showing up for y'all. Didn't get rid of that one. Okay. So give that glue a few minutes. I guess get my plate back out. Let them that glue dry there. And those get hung on our fireplace mantle. So set that aside for that. And what am I using them? Oh. I was like, what am I using the mirrored stuff for now? I just found it. But just need the little piece on this one. This is the template for our mirrored stuff, so I can go onto the back of it. Should have plenty of room to get some glue dots on it. Pick it back up. Okay, so just on the top edge, just down. Likewise, just straight across the bottom edge as well. We go. Okay. I'm saying not worried about that shape, just the little guy this time. It's all straight edges, so I'm just going to use my big scissors. Should be able to get in there without destroying everything. Now it's not glued down on the edge. I think it's, for what it's going to be, I don't think it's much of a big deal. There we go. Extra input. Then we take our thick black wire. We need 2.5 centimeters. To there. This is going to be a poker for our fireplace. Give me a 90-degree angle on the end. Hook poker effect. And that's going to be our handle for that. So, find out how this works now. Let's see, I want to wrap it down there, so that's a standard. Get a curl going. started there. Move to smaller diameter. Okay, if I can get that to stay tight on there, that'll be good. And let's see. I think it's going to take the super glue because I don't think, because it's uncurling a lot more than plain paper does usually. So I think I need something to get that instant bond in. So get out my old Gorilla super glue and see how this goes. I'm not sure. Here, tight corners here, tight quarters here rather. Okay, can I get that to open back up a little bit? Some on the inside. Some on here. Sticking to me fine. Not sticking to the wire or itself. No, not at all. Okay. We just won't have a handle on our poker. We're just going to have a plain old poker. And if you look there, that's the problem I've had with this before, where it strips out the insulation. So let's try another stretch of it and use my little curly Q thing. So, length of it here. Curly Q guy. Okay, so that's our poker is going to sit on our fireplace. And what else am I making here? Okay, got more fireplace accessories here. Got a little grating. What's this for? This is all candles. Okay. I think. Yeah. And got to make a couple of jars. And that's for the meter. Okay, these guys are for jars. And that's going to be decorations for a wreath I'm going to attempt to make. I don't even know if I'll get to that tonight because I think that's going to be a time-consuming project. Set them aside and just do get started off on our, like maybe jar candles or something. I'm not sure what the whole thing is on that, but we'll figure it out. Back to, gotta wrap this stuff around the tube there, so to curl on the paper. This is just paper, so it stays rolled up better than the mirror stuff. So hopefully that'll make it a little more cooperative here. I've only got the one shot at them, so I hate to mess it up. I think I want to try the super glue again. And I'm going to go over in this sort of straighter section there. It's going to be, I hope it'll glue onto it. The glue seemed to almost want to work on that last one, so fingers crossed this will do it. Unwound last little bit where it'll hopefully just glue to itself and the tubing. On there crooked. And it is set in. So I don't guess I'm going to adjust it, but I just have to have it facing that way, not that way. I have to remember that. But that did seem to work pretty good. So that's a positive. Coat on there. Trying to do a better job of lining this one up. Yeah, slightly better. Still crooked. It appears to stick to whatever material this tube is. Get some trimming on. I managed to still get it crooked. Not a surprise. Okay, that's a little better. All right. Let's run on this one too. I think I got a little straighter on it too, though, so that's good. Okay. Those aside. Hopefully I won't need any more of those, that tube, but I'll hang on to it in case there is more pieces. Okay. And what are we doing here? I think, oh, did I miss? Yeah, oh yeah, the candles. Should be 4, yeah. 1 tall one and 3 short ones. And we're just basically cutting those out and wrapping them around the wire. It looks like wire. My wire's not that crooked. But okay, so occurs to me if I'm doing this, it doesn't really matter how long I make those, it'll just make the candles thicker. So I'm just gonna try and make the width right. Like I say, the more layers you wrap on it, the thicker the candle will be, so I don't think that'll hurt anything. Find out soon enough. Right. And I need 3 1cm strips and 1 2cm strip. Okay, so Ish. And a 2-centimeter. There. All right. I think I'm gonna go get away with the B7000 on this stuff because that's, you know, just paper. Same principle. Just get a little curly Q started on it. Gradually smaller diameter. The paper, get the memory in there. This one should be the easy one because it's the biggest one. It's a little. Okay, I guess evidently you're supposed to trim it down after, it looks like. On the end. I could just. I guess the wick does have to be that thick to sort of show up. It's all said and done, so. And like I said, we're going to trim it down after the fact. So, a little B7000 on the edge here. Put some in the core as well, but I think this will get us sealed up on it. Well, I thought it would, but it came unwound. Usually I'll stick, well, that for that there. Okay. Alright. Well, I think it'll still work now. I'll put a little on the end of the wire. A little spinny. Okay. So, like I said, that's what we're going to see in the end. So probably a little bit less than that, but yeah. Okay. I think we can make that work. Or I think I can make that work anyway. Next one. Seemed to work pretty good to put the glue on after the fact, so I'm going to try that again. This one's going to be the more difficult one because I would say, yeah, I'm actually going to scrap those. New plan. I think I got some more of this wire of this gauge if I need it. Just use the full piece, I hope. Okay. I think I've lost it now. Okay, you must cut me off a little less. Okay, let me try this again. I'm not feeling this because I don't think it's feeling me. Let's see. I'm trying to think of an alternative. I feel like this is not cooperating with me. This one, I think is going to end up okay. These are below my threshold of being able to maneuver. Let's see. I don't think. Let me put my glue cap back on first. I'll trim it down to the recommended size, and we'll see if that makes a difference. I don't think that's the problem though. Okay, that side's already done. Yeah. It's getting all lumpy in there. There's just not enough surface area for me to wrap on those, so I'm going to have to come up with a better option on that. That back over there. Let's see. I've got my felt there. Let's do about the same that I did on my little strip. I think I got a plan. I'm not sure if it'll look like candles or not though. Okay. Just maybe I'll make it. Yeah, it's just, I think this is beneath my threshold for. Okay, if I make it a little bit thicker, maybe I can roll them over. Okay, let's make one more run at that. Let's go. A lot bigger. A lot bit wider anyway. And see how the hot glue gun reacts to this. I think I might have something in mind now. It's coming, slowly formulating a plan in my head. Okay, so got the end showing that's that. So I'm going to try and put the glue on there. Okay. Anchored there. And pick it up. Okay. Need some more. Burn my fingers. Wrap it. Yeah. Maybe. Turn this flap off, maybe. Let's see. Okay. Not beautiful, but I think that'll work. I think that's about as good as, probably not as good as theirs, but. And, okay, so doesn't matter if that's about a square anyway, but let's see, that like. Okay. A little more generous with the glue on this one. Go. Willingly wanting to roll. A little more. Way too much glue. Yep. Hot, hot, hot. Once again, not beautiful, but I think at the scale it'll work. Now I made two of them that way. Let me get a little excess glue off of that. That seems like it's going to be alright. Let's try third one. Big piece. Put the glue down on the belt. Maybe that'll work better. Into it. Okay, I think if I roll you once, maybe glue in there, but right over the wick here. Get it a couple more times. More smidge of glue in there. Seal it up. Trim off the excess. Extra glue out of there. Okay. That is probably the way to do it. I think that's the cleanest outside one. It's a little bit, it's a thick boy candle, but they make them like that. Of course, get down to the last one and figure it out, of course. That's par for the course on me. Let's see here. I got... Okay, those. I'm procrastinating on that wreath because I think that's definitely going to be a start-off project. Gonna go. We can make some. We got some firewood to make, so I'm gonna do that. That should be straightforward. So where to put my couple of tiny sticks and our crepe paper, and supposedly we'll just glue those down and wrap it up in crepe paper. So just something like there. should. Toughest crepe paper in the world. Okay. Drag a razor across it, nothing. It might be a fairly dull razor, but you'd still think it would do something. Okay, so these in half. Just gonna maybe should have done a bigger strip. And have okay. I have to go buy some more crepe paper after this. That's, okay. So rolling you over, get coated. That, so that seems not unreasonable. Just had all that practice rolling with the hot glue gun, so I'm going to go with that. Let's see. Okay. That seemed to work. Get that first log off. Not full coverage on there, but I think for our purposes, I think it'll work. A little. I thought it would, but it's a little more. Get some B7000, go down the seam on it. Get it to cooperate with us, maybe. It sort of makes that cure quicker. And not really, but it'll do its job. It'll work for work for what we need it to do. Okay, of course, try the other way. The second one. Into it. Next to it again. That big glob. Okay, that. About the same. A loose one, I think, actually. I did get a little bit better coverage on there. Still not perfect, but suits me. Then cutting them. Oh, basically into thirds. It's firewood, so it doesn't have to be precise. And let's just make a stack. 3 on the bottom, and 2, and 1. And then they show it like being tied together, but we don't do that in my house. Let's get that. Sort of looks like a log thing. Okay, so let's being greedy. Okay, let's do there. You guys to all stick to each other. And me. Well, most of them stayed on. I should use regular glue. So, honestly, this looks more like the stack of firewood in my house. Everywhere. And the bark peeling off. Okay. And, yeah, I made a mess of that. I don't even see a way to. Yeah, that. This one's peeling off quick. Okay. Alright. I think it'll be alright. I could have done a better job, but I think if it was me, I'd use thicker dowel, a bigger stick. Say, I don't even have. There's sort of somewhere in between that and like a regular. But yeah, I'm really not pleased with that one. I'm going to take another shot at that tomorrow. Yeah, so we'll start off with that. We'll do that in the wreath tomorrow. I think it would have been better to individually wrap them than try and wrap them all at one time. And I can probably got to make enough for the crepe paper here, or I'll figure something out to make it look better. I just had, you know what I've got? I can pre-make it. Got a stick here. Should. Once I cut it open, I think might have a similar aesthetic. Let's see what happens. I don't go down, do I? Yeah, it's a, I think. Okay. I've just convinced myself to go ahead and do it tonight. Okay. Well, that took a turn. But it's time to install all this stuff into all our goodies we made tonight. Let me get over to the page where all that is actually showing. Okay. So, looks like our stockings hung by the chimney with care go. They got it down here on the brick, but they're supposed to be hanging on now. So, may not look as smooth there, but I think it'll. Of course, they've got them facing the other way, but I don't think that matters. It's just personal preference. Let's see if I can't get you. Dribble on right there. Gun and. Seem to work. Dribble over there. That seemed to work. Okay. And our wood. Ooh, I need to round the edges on those right. Man. Okay. And they're supposed to go like right in this area here, it looks like. So we're almost up to the front, so I'm going to go back to the B7000, I believe, after the debacle that was the hot glue gun a minute ago. Let me cut hot glue strings out of there. Okay, so I'll do a little bead back and forth there. Just those ends. And two on the next step. We got our, that's a little stack of firewood there for us. I'm satisfied. I think that looks a little better than the other thing I tried to make there. Now our grating, let's go straight across there. Oh, give them my little dabs. Okay. Shouldn't have used hot glue on that. Well, I should have put it on the grating rather than the wall. That's where I made my mistake. Alright. We'll live with that. I can put my... Okay, get my poker out. And rather than having the silver handle, it occurs to me I've got silver marker. Just mark it up all the way around. This goes right here. I dropped it. Right. Sort of doesn't really stand out against that grating, does it? Okay, like that it does a little bit. Okay. Now, I guess first thing to do is trim the wick down on this candle. A tall one. And there. Don't have a good... Somewhere I saw a good picture of how to set the candles up, I thought. No, not really. They go over in that corner. I'll put them in front of that hot glue. So just dab on the bottom. Learn from my grading mistake. Looks like just two of them go in there, is the way best I can tell. So that one my felt ones in. All the string. Had issues here. Try that again. Oof. Okay. Just dab on the bottom. Okay, and that's supposed to be the small candle, so and this is this guy. I don't think it's gonna focus, goes in. But I think, like I said, I think this is supposed to be like a jar candle. Right. Not there. Not there. Not against the, not with the present. I missed one. Try again. Okay, so on the edge there. In theory. And while I'm doing all that, like I said, the presents are got at least this little stack of presents that goes into there. I can peel off that. Yeah, it popped off on the glue. Okay. I'll just got the hot glue gun going, so let's just use it and the couch. think that's all the pieces I'm going to do tonight. Like I said, the wreath is supposed to be hung up here on the chimney, and I think it looks like a pretty significant project. So I'm imagining that's going to be fun for tomorrow. And what else is there? And so then we got all the stuff that I'm wondering if we really need to do. Because I'm looking, let me grab the other side. Let's see how this is looking put together, maybe. Sort of. Okay, yeah. Get a glimpse of how be upon completion. Keeping in mind we still got a tree to go in here. I'm thinking that might be too much stuff. Because that's not. Because it's supposed to be like. At the tabletop. The tabletop's supposed to go in. Yeah, I'm not getting the same spacing they are either. The table, because these gifts were supposed to fit over on the other side of the. Yeah, I don't think there'll be room for the table and the tree. I'm getting. Tree out here. Hold on a second. That's in there. Just barely, but the tree's supposed to be centered on our window here. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do some refiguring on that. I don't think that's going to fly. Yeah. Yeah, so. Yeah, I think we may have to sacrifice that table just for space. I think that, you know, there's the picture. Yeah, somehow I didn't end up with enough room. I don't know. We'll have to sleep on that and figure it out. But I think even if it does just get to be the tree, like say here on the center of the window, I don't dislike that with the. You know, I think that's enough stuff in there. I have to see if there's any other smaller things I can maybe replace it with. Because like I say, I don't see a good way to. Because it can't be over. The tree can't be in the window because it's gonna. I think there's a window frame going in, so it's gonna be pushed at least to here. Yeah, I don't think. And you're the one that's centered, like I say, on our window here. So I'm starting to suspect that whatever kit they built with is not with the parts they provided. I don't know that, but I'm suspecting it. Because like I say, that's just because this present barely fit in the thing. Yeah, I was like suspicions, but I'm not gonna make any accusations. That's just sort of what I'm seeing and what it feels like. Okay, but I'm gonna call it there. Put my tree back away. Didn't get much done tonight, but made some progress. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Like, subscribe, comment, complain, share, do whatever you want to with all that. Be good to one another, stay safe, and click on the link. There's my channel over there if you'd like to subscribe. There's my other channel where someday I'm going to do an experiment or project again. That is what YouTube thinks you should be watching, and this is the playlist for this whole build. I'll see you tomorrow.